It's so crazy how a man can make a woman question everything about herself, especially when that man is her father. Like, the first man who was ever supposed to love me didn't, so how can any man ever love me, really? I'm not talking about a holy father, but a father in need of holy water, a baptism in water holier than the alcoholism that my father, he who is holier than thou, drowns in. I'm not talking about our Father who art in heaven, but a Father who metaphorically lives in the ghetto of the heaven that Tupac wondered about. Hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom has come from the west side of Detroit. Thy will be done, pistol popping on any mile in Woodward. So you thought. It's crazy how one conversation can take you back to that one moment when you first started developing that childhood trauma here on earth. Not as it was in heaven before you transitioned into this new karmic space, this new fleshly body that is now simply a receptacle that stores the mental and emotional imprints of all of his abuse. Give us this day. Well, my joy is his pain and my pain is his love, and he loves to hate me all over our daily bread. Breaking in pieces of me that crumble every single time I reopen the door for an altar call of his love. Still painful. Mostly because it's so toxic that I can barely breathe, and the only salvation pulling my spirit up for air is the need to be saved from him. No matter how many times I forgive his trespasses, I can never seem to forget because he's constantly trespassing against me. Throwing unnecessary daggers, kicking unnecessary stones, pouring kerosene on my old but healing wounds and setting them ablaze, leading himself into more temptation. See, I wish I could deliver us both from evil, but it's hard when the devil is your daddy and you're made in his image. It don't take a mirror to see the residue of his destruction reflected back inside of me. These demons I didn't create, yet I fight them every day because I know there's a God in me. At least that's what I believe. She shines and grinds and rhymes, and that's how that I know, for thine is the kingdom, mine is the queendom. My spiritual vines hold the wisdom, so my aura don't have to come to play. But may the power of his will to be better tomorrow than what it was today, and may the glory of his ego give peace of mind instead of simply a piece of his mind to anyone who will listen to the hate that he spews from the shadows of his darkness. And may I heal without being re-triggered over and over again, mistakenly perpetuating and passing down a cycle for another generation to endure, the karmic legacy of which lasts forever and evermore. May this unprayer not go unacknowledged in the world of prayer. May it be heard from the devil's congregation to God's ears. For the unprayer, let the church say, amen. Yeah, this piece, I have a very, I would say a father who's very volatile, and it, you know, this was a voicemail that ended up on my, and it was unprovoked. My father also suffers from
some mental illnesses as well, unchecked and undiagnosed, but also is as a result of his own demons and his own trauma that he's fighting against. And I think that, like, many of us in this room may be able to relate to that, not just from a parent, but just maybe themselves or somebody they know or a family member. So when I approached this piece, I wanted to approach it with a lot of empathy for him, but also for me too, because I have also not been able to live in a free space from it, because it feels like I'm always being constantly re-triggered over and over again. And I don't have any hate in my heart for my father. I know that he's doing the best that he can, and sometimes people's best is not good enough, and that's just the reality of it. They are doing the best that they can with what they have, and unfortunately the tools that my father has are very limited. And so he's doing the best with the tools he got. It don't seem like it's much, and it's not very good, but that's the best that he can do. And I'm gonna turn this pain, make lemons out of lemonade, and like turn this pain into something that is creative and beautiful and could live in that particular way. So me approaching this, I had actually already wrote the piece before that voicemail came in. The piece was in the book, and the and the voicemail came after that. But I was like, wow, this is going to go on the album, and this is how I want to integrate this voicemail into this piece for my own healing.
Even though I've heard it before, I think it does something slightly different to me in this context of listening to your whole album and centering healing and resilience. Like, this whole experience has been the highs, and this one is just such a visceral, like, reality of harm, and that's a part of healing and resilience. And I think to hear this piece as part of a story that you're telling across this, I think is sitting with me and is very meaningful.
It resonated deeply for me. I have some challenges in my parental dynamic with my father, and many of the things that you said in this piece stood out to me. Like, of course, the phrase "disrespectful bitches," definitely stood out in the voicemail after you said it, and then just in you talking now, saying that your father has limited tools, and that's very true in the case for me as well. I just recognize that there's just a level of emotional immaturity, and that is kind of just carried throughout this whole time, you know what I mean? Relationships are so nuanced, especially the parent-child dynamic, because obviously these are the people that we come from, and there's love there because you come through that, right? And you are a piece of that. But then to have the moments of not feeling safe because of this dynamic, there's so much room for expansion inside of the parent-child relationship if a parent allows themselves to evolve enough to accept that process.
Throughout the conversation in the room, I've gone from being triggered and angry, like, let me get my keys, let's go, to understanding that you have battled to not get the type of reaction that you're still getting the entire time. You're like trying your best to connect with this person, and still unprovoked, you get this response. I always think it's interesting how our parents' generation, how some of them pick and choose to not heal. This is crazy to me how we are like, gotta get there. And they're like, yeah, no, this is like, I can't see past. And when you say limited tools, like, yeah, the line is there. The blinders are on. The veil never comes off. And I just always wonder why, don't they want to heal? Why don't they want to get there? Why don't they want the relationship? Why don't they want family? I'm so happy that you chose to just get on the train and ride past the drama, ride past the stress. I'm so proud of you. I just see you constantly, standing 10 toes down on, it's not about being disrespectful. This is for your mom. It's not about that. It's about, I can't believe, how dare you heal without me? How dare you not need my parental guidance anymore? How dare you be a strong, empowered woman and accelerate past any point that I've ever seen in my life, but then expect me to still be your daddy? You know, I'm your dad. Like, that is crazy to me, that mentality. But I love that you've found so much beauty in it, and you've decided to move into a place where you can help other people see that life is much bigger than a conversation or some random voicemail that you just left. Like, okay, cool, thank you, next. You know, I really appreciated that. And as we moved towards the end of the track, I just felt like, again, this is about liberation. This is about healing. This is about, you know, being strong. And that word is so heavy that I don't think people know that you have to actually physically put it in your bag every day and carry it around. Like, you have to be strong. It's not something you can just apply in the morning. It's not something that you can wash off at night. You have to put that backpack on, and it's 375 pounds every single day of every week. You have to carry it. And you do it. And you're smiling, and you're happy, and you're here, and you're still creating. You didn't go into a corner and hide. And I love that about you, and I love you forever. There's so much love and joy out of that little bit of, oh, you thought you had me, right? You thought that was going to do it for me. But I'm still good, though. You know, I love that. I love it. I love it.